Hi everyone, today we're talking about equivalent fractions. Remember that equivalent fractions represent the same value even though they have different numbers. For instance, here we have two pans of brownies. One says it's 2/3 of the pan and the other one says it's 4/6 of the pan. Well, if I could make that 2/3 into 6, I could easily see that they are both 4/6. But it's time to learn a new way to do this. And that's going to be by creating a common denominator. Here we have a 6 on the bottom. If I had a 6 on the bottom over here, they'd be much easier to compare. Well, how can I make that happen? I'll need to multiply 2/3 by a fraction equivalent to 1. And that just means that we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the same number. So now you see that 4/6 is equivalent to 2/3. Here we have 3/4 of a cookie and 6/8 of a cookie. And by the models, I can tell those look like the same amount. But again, let's see if we can prove that to ourselves. I have an 8 on the denominator here. If I could have an 8 over here, that would be super helpful. So I could multiply this 4 by a 2. Remember, what we're really doing is multiplying by 2 over 2. So we end up with 6/8, and you can see it's equivalent to 3/4. Here I have 3/6 of a cake and 2/4 of a cake, and they both look like half the cake, but let's prove this to ourselves. Is there a common multiple of 6 and 4? How about 12? If I had a 12 on the bottom of both of these, it would be much easier to look at. So let's multiply top and bottom here and see that the cake on the left is 6/12. On the right, I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom by 3, which also gives me 6/12. So 3/6, 2/4, and 6/12 are all equivalent fractions. Here I'm looking for fractions equivalent to 2/6. Is 1/3 equivalent to 2/6? Well, how could I get from 3 to 6? I would need to multiply by 2. If I multiply the 3 by a 2, I also need to multiply the 1 by a 2, and yes, this is an equivalent set of fractions. How about 20/30ths? Let's write that down here so you can see a little better. Is 2/6 equal to 20/30ths? Well, how do I get from 6 to 30? I multiply by 5. If I multiply 2 by 5, I get 10, not 20. That middle one is not correct. Okay, one last one. Is 2/6 equivalent to 3/9? Well, that 6 and 9 are a little hard to compare. It might be nice if I used a common multiple, like 18. Now, how did I get from 6 to 18? I multiply by 3, top and bottom, so that's 6/18. On the right, how did I get from 9 to 18? I multiplied by 2. So what I do to the bottom, I do to the top, and now you see that 3/9 and 2/6 and 6/18 are all equivalent fractions. Okay, now it's your turn.